we're going into our last topic, and that's, it's kind of a big topic. We're not therapists, but we act as therapists, I think, as choral conductors quite often. And we've lost that personal connection with students. And we're frankly all in us, right? We are overwhelmed ourselves with this world that we're living in. And so I guess the question is thoughts on how we provide appropriate emotional support for our students, but for our families. My wife is playing mother to two homeschoolers now, right? And we're accidental homeschoolers, as is everybody else right now with children. And ourselves. How do we take care of ourselves, and how do we support each other? And I think, NCCO, I'll give NCCO credit too. I think this is a wonderful way to support each other. But Jeff, do you have any thoughts on that? What are you doing? How are you? How are you students and your family?
We're doing okay. Yeah, my family's all here too. My kids are a little bit older, but we're all here in the house together. I just want to say I really enjoyed last Friday's webinar on fostering togetherness in this era of remote learning. And I appreciated how all the panelists emphasized in different ways that everyone's situation is unique. No single solution is going to work for everyone. And we also need to be patient with ourselves. I think conductors are natural problem solvers, which is great. But in this unprecedented moment, I see many colleagues putting immense pressure on themselves. So I just wanted to end this conversation by suggesting that we need to give ourselves time and recognize that this is not what we've been trained to do. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. And any support or instruction or mentoring, no matter how small, that we're able to give our students is good. At my institution, there's been a huge amount of discussion just this past week about how to handle grading. And some people think we should just proceed normally. Some people want pass-fail. Some people want opt-in to regular grading or pass-fail. But there are also a lot of people supporting the universal pass. So pass-fail without the fail. And a decision hasn't been made here, but there's a lot of momentum around the idea of universal pass. And that might not be the right solution for every institution, but the fact that it's even being considered, I see as an acknowledgement of how exceptional this moment is and how we need to be willing to adapt. And it's led me to reflect a lot on how flexible and, above all, how human we should try to be in all of the decisions that are impacting our students in these coming weeks. And lastly, I guess I would just say that I'm going to try to celebrate small successes in whatever form they appear, rather than dwelling on shortcomings or limitations, whether it's on the part of myself or my students or my colleagues.
Karen, thoughts?
Oh, just a lot of the same, but I suppose I'm thinking carefully about how I interact with students via email. And how even simple things like, how do I open an email? How do I close it? How do I word things? And I'm thinking a lot about grading, and I've changed all of my grades to completion grades for the rest of the semester, and just trying to lower the stakes for students. And, Blackboard has that wonderful check mark option, and, maybe it's just nice to see a check mark instead of a B- or something like that. And then also checking in with them after an assignment is, meant to be submitted, and maybe they didn't submit it, and I don't know why, and I want to be so open to the reasons why they maybe didn't submit an assignment, so I'm following up with emails to check in with them. So I suppose I feel like I'm just trying to be really sensitive to an individual circumstance for our students.
Yeah. Nicole?
Yeah, it's a time that we've never lived in before. And I had a Zoom meeting with my choir last week, and one of the students said, I feel like I've lost my family. And, to realize their perspective is so important. And I think that we as professors are charged with continuing to teach, continuing to elicit submissions of assignments, grading, whatever it is. But I think that the very basic thing is that our students are so fragile and they're not equipped to deal with this right now. And so I think that that they might be looking to us as their most close mentors to give them guidance. That's a lot of pressure for us too. And I think that we have to be cognizant of their home lives, just like what Karen was saying. If an assignment isn't turned in, are they in a home where they don't have consistent internet? Do they not have a device where they can actually make a video? All of these things that it's so easy to forget, but that we have a responsibility to take into our entirety of understanding.
Yeah. I have 2 students. We're going to be affected by our students coming down with this virus. 2 right now that they're suspicious. So it's going to become more and more of a reality. William, final thoughts?
Well, nothing much to add to what has already been so well stated by our colleagues here, but I, like Jeff, have 2 older kids at home, a 19-year-old who's first year in college and a 16-year-old who's a junior in high school. And I admittedly take a number of my teacher cues from them and the things that they say about their teachers, or how they say, oh, this person is just so sappy, or this person is just, they're just piling on this much work. And so I try to balance out based upon, and they're not in music as far as, what they're pursuing. They're involved in it, but not, my older daughter is not majoring in music. So anyway, but I try to balance that out, and I don't try to overwhelm my students with emails and this, that, and the other than just the assignment sort of things. But I find myself responding, because I'm closer to my device than I normally am. So I'm able to respond to the messages right away. And I think they appreciate having a quicker response than before, and some very direct and pointed information. So just being responsive, being there, I think is a big thing, even outside of the classroom.
Great. And Deanna, final words from you.
Yes, I'm like many of us in deep with kids and little ones for me, and also teaching. And my reality was I was holding my 3-month-old son while my husband finished teaching a choral lit class online right before this went live, and then he swooped in and took the baby. And so I guess my point I want to make, all of us have been so great talking about our students, but I just want to throw in a word for being kind and compassionate with ourselves as well during this time. I know that I'm very hard on myself. I'm sure most of us are, being in this profession, and just making time to go take a walk if you need to take a walk. Do something to make your day have some type of structure to it. I know that in this phase of parenting and with online teaching, it can just feel very endless, and it's like at 9:30 you're finally getting your toddler into bed and you're like, ah. So, I mean, it's a crazy time, and we need to just make sure that we take a little time each day to do something that's going to keep us mentally healthy as well. It's important.
Well, gosh, thank you, everybody. What a wonderful conversation, and I feel very fortunate to have taken part in this. So I think with that, we are past 12 o'clock, so I know we all have our lives to get back to. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and share widely with your colleagues who may not have been able to join us for this discussion.
And thank you, Matt, for pulling it all
Thank
together.
you, yes.
Oh, my
Thanks,
pleasure.
everybody.
For being so wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we should do it
Thank
again.
you.